And I'm sure a lot of people feel a lot of different ways, but Cade Cunningham last night scored 46 points on 45 shot attempts. And I can hear the box stat watchers just screaming, right? When they saw that stat line, I know it just was a gut punch for those guys, right? The guys who don't actually watch the games, and they are only watching it from this narrow view of efficiency. And I got to tell you, I loved seeing it. Now, that's not me saying this was the greatest performance of all time or anything like that, but I loved seeing Cade Cunningham last night empty the clip and shoot the ball 45 times, especially when you start to add context. Because when you start to add context, things start to make sense, and you realize sometimes that is what's needed to win a game, right? A willingness to go out on your shield, a willingness to shoot the ball 45 freaking times just to put that amount of pressure on the defensive line, right? Just doing that alone does something to a defense where now they're like, holy cow, if we're not careful, this guy's going to go at our jugular every possession. And that's what Cade Cunningham did last night. So let's break that down, right? Let's break that down really quick. Now, the reason I'm break down briefly, I'm not going to go too far into it, but essentially, let's frame it like this, right? For all the people who maybe hated on that performance, who maybe saw that performance was like, he only made 14 shots, he only shot like 37% from the field. Now let's set the tone, right? Let's um, set the plot, right? Let's set the plot. So the Detroit Pistons last night faced off against the Washington Wizards, and the Detroit Pistons, for obvious reasons, were shorthanded because usually in games like that, games that you're pretty confident you can win against a team who's not very good, you may sit some guys. So they did. I think they definitely sat three guys in Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert, and I believe a Sir Thompson. But I think I'm missing one there. So they sat three or four of their primary guys who take on a lot of the scoring, take on a lot of the defense, take on a lot of the ball handling duties, right? Karis LeVert is like their backup ball handler in that sense. And you could imagine when you're sitting four of your primary guys that that's going to call on the best player who did play to take on more of the responsibility. And that's exactly what happened. Now, that's not even to include the reads that, or the way that Washington rather was defending Cade Cunningham allowed for him to take that many shots, right? Because they very easily could have doubled Cade and made other guys beat them, but they said no, we're going to allow Cade to be the one to be aggressive and try and score 60 points to beat us, right? Teams take on those sorts of mindsets all the time, right? Whether it's the role players are going to beat us, whether it's the main guys going to beat us, right?